When I read it, I thought this is going to be quite challenging. We've got 10 characters each that we have to flip between, all these different accents, which is great. Like, a challenge is what inspires you to carry on. And I love new writing, and the idea that knowing this script was going to develop throughout rehearsal process was really interesting as well.
I knew quite a lot about civil rights kind of in the 1960s history, so I was really interested in freedom rides and just getting a more personal kind of view of what that was.
I was excited to meet the writer because I had an image, and the image is very different from the reality when I met Lisa.
When it comes to civil rights movements and stuff, I think for me, which really hits home is always Martin Luther King. I mean, you know, Malcolm X and stuff. So when the Freedom Riders came through, in terms of it being one of the major themes of the play, it was like, wow, Freedom Riders, I've heard of them, but I've never really invested in the story of them and what their movement was about. So really going into it was very interesting. And pretty much very inspirational. The fact that also, because we educate the kids as well, I think it's important that it's told, the story is told. So, yeah. One thing that really stood out for me in terms of techniques was a lot of focus-based activities. Something as simple as just throwing a tennis ball to someone else. I think just having that sense of focus and synergy within the group, because it's a very what's the word I want to use? Ensemble. Thank you. Ensemble. It's a very heavily ensemble piece, so it's like working off each other. It's everyone keeping the energy going, you know. So focus games really helped. A lot of character work in terms of using different energies, like using the Laban effect and stuff like that, in terms of finding character. Even voice work as well. Just get the difference between a white American and a black American, which clearly there is a big difference. So just really using a lot of voice activities and focus activities in order to keep me going within the rehearsal space.
What Kamisha said earlier about the challenge of having 10 different characters. So I work very physically, so physical exploration, would that be? Yeah, so exploring physically different characters. So if one's up here, what makes them up here? And then if one's down here, like just finding 10 different people, even though I'm just a 6-foot male with dark hair, you know, so, but you have to make everyone look different and be different rhythms, different accents, different attitudes, and that's where Laban stuff can come really useful, and just being brave physically.
I really enjoyed looking at the underlining of the spoken word, you know, really chasing the rhyme, which I found really useful as an exercise. Kamisha?
Leading on from that, I found the imagery very useful. Like, I think one challenge that we had with spoken word is getting carried away with the rhythm and although we're hitting the rhymes, you lose the sense of the story. The imagery work really helped for us to see what we're saying, see the journey of the story, and not only chase those rhymes, but bring you along with us without getting lost. Okay, so we worked with an accent coach to help us get the difference between the North American accents, so the Boston, the JFK, the Robert Kennedy, the Southern accents, but we've got 2 different types of Southern. So you kind of have general Southern, which we put towards our white characters, and then Ebonics.
Yep.
Ebonics, which is kind of the black Southern drawl. So yeah,
which has been a challenge for me. It really has been a challenge for me, but that's all part of the experience, you know. Like, but it's been great having the writer in the room as well.
Yeah.
Lisa Evans has been sat just over there for most of the time.
Yeah.
So Natalie, the director, being able to work closely with Lisa the whole time, has been really useful just to us, like, because it's her play, it's her baby, but then her being in the room and letting us play with it, but then always having her to refer back to. It's just been, it's made it a whole circle instead of, I wonder what the writer meant.
Yeah.
The writer said that.